Nate with Sauce Ain't the Boss here, and today is day number 211 of quitting alcohol. Today I just wanted to talk about vacations and how that can be a trigger for wanting to drink alcohol. I mentioned in an earlier video that we're planning a trip to Hawaii here as one last big family get-together vacation with my two boys and my wife before they get jobs and move out of the house. They're in their late teenage years now, and they've never been anywhere tropical, so we wanted to do something kind of like a graduation gift slash last big hoorah kind of thing before they're gone. And anyway, as I'm planning this trip and I'm looking online at these places, a lot of these Airbnbs we're looking at come with a free bottle of wine, and just the pictures of the way that the houses are staged and stuff. There's a bottle of wine and there's wine glasses, and I'm looking at pictures of Hawaii, deciding where to stay and what islands to go to and blah, blah, blah. And, you got Mai Tais and, pictures of pina coladas and all this stuff and tropical drinks. And I guess vacations are just synonymous with drinking alcohol. And I remember going on vacation. I've been to Hawaii before and drinking alcohol when I was there at the luau's. And, back when I went to Hawaii, that wasn't really when I was a huge drinker back then. It was for my honeymoon, and I really wasn't a drinker much then. But nonetheless, I still drank. And I think, most normal people is kind of when they drink more is when they're on vacation and that kind of thing, just because they're relaxing. And we somehow associate relaxing and vacationing with alcohol. And so I just feel this trigger type craving coming up within me, wanting to drink when I'm there, and that the whole point of these videos is to be honest. And sometimes these are the things that can be triggers and challenging and that kind of thing. And definitely worth talking about. I mentioned in an earlier video when I went camping that was a real big one. It's kind of similar to that. And it's much easier now to see it for what it is and be able to control the thoughts on it and see it as silly as it is. And but nonetheless, it's still there. And I think that that's something that is going to exist for a lot of us when we're planning vacations, is the thought of wanting to drink, or just because, especially when you go somewhere like Hawaii, when it's just one of those places where there's tiki bars everywhere and swim up bars, at the pool, and people around you are drinking. And that's not to say I'm putting myself into a bad situation where I'm not going to be able to handle it or whatever. But I'm not going to lie, there is a part of me that wants to drink when I'm there. And, but on the flip side of that, I think to myself about how I'm doing this for my kids. And I've talked about in so many videos how the relationships with my two boys has improved since I quit drinking alcohol. And how bad would that be that I planned this big trip and I've been 7-8 months without drinking, and all of a sudden I go to Hawaii, and the trip that's supposed to be memorable and special is the trip that, their dad goes back to drinking again. It would just ruin the whole point of the thing and just be terrible. And so, those are the kinds of things we really have to think about and remind ourselves of when we're this far along in a journey and those triggers pop up, or those cravings, is, what are you sacrificing versus what am I going to gain out of drinking while I'm in Hawaii? A hangover, waking up when everybody else is wanting to get their day started and going, and I'm sitting there still in bed feeling like crap because, I decided to poison myself. And not to mention the money you spend on stuff like that at these places. The drink prices are insane. Everything in Hawaii is more expensive, especially alcohol. And there's just reason after reason to not drink. And so, when you're faced with planning a vacation, or you're on vacation and you get that split second thought about drinking, or maybe I can have one, or this won't hurt anything, or it'd be a good time to finally drink, or whatever, lies our brain tells us in those environments and situations. Switch those thoughts to all the sacrifices, things you'd be sacrificing if you went back to drinking, and how far you've come, and just all the wonderful things going on that you would be jeopardizing for that one temporary lapse in judgment that comes up, you know. And again, there's going to be in this whole journey the highs and lows and the times when, even though as great as things get and as amazing as life is, where your brain reverts back to that old drinking thinking mentality that's really just dumb. The key is, and the secret to this whole thing though, is being able to identify that, see it for what it is, and don't fall prey to those lies and bad thoughts that pop in there. And because they're going to happen to all of us at some point. If you used to be a heavy drinker or an alcoholic, for lack of a better term, and now you're getting away from it. You've experienced that drug. It was your drug of choice. And I think it's natural that you're going to get thoughts and cravings, you know. I mean, no different than a smoker quitting smoking. I've talked to family members that have quit smoking, and then, you know, decades later, all of a sudden they get a craving for a cigarette, and they just see it and laugh at it and move on, because at that point in the game, it's just stupid to ever think about going back to smoking again, just like it will be for drinking. But nonetheless, you know, those things do pop up just because it's something you did for so many years, and you thought it was great while you were doing it, only to end up in a miserable situation in life later because of it. But so yeah, just you know, something to think about, guys. Vacations, and you know, let's face it, you have options. I'm never going to go on vacation again because it's going to be too much of a trigger. Well, that's lame. I'm not going to sit around and not do things after a point because I'm worried about drinking or putting myself in that situation. And all of us are going to have to navigate that on our own and when we feel ready to. I'm not pushing anybody or saying anybody should do something that's out of their comfort zone as far as this journey goes. But I'm personally not going to live my life in fear of drinking again and not doing things because I'm afraid. You know, it'd be like not going to Hawaii because I'm afraid of getting on a plane and getting into a plane crash or something. I mean, it's just one of those things, you know, you just have to do things in life and sometimes accept the challenges and risks maybe that come along with them. It's risk and reward, you know, and I use that analogy a lot in my family that, you know, hey, skydiving, you know, risk versus reward versus, you know, going on a Sunday drive or whatever, you know, when my kids are telling me about doing risky things, because you know how it is to be young and you feel invincible and that nothing bad's ever going to happen. And then as you get older, you start to wise up a little bit and understand that life is precious. And, you know, I used to ride dirt bikes a lot, and the risk and reward, I flipped over my handlebars a few times, got some pretty hard wrecks, and, you know, messed up my chest cavity a little bit. Just some different wrecks I got into caused me some problems, and I realized that if I kept down that road of hard riding on dirt bikes, that I was going to probably get seriously injured, maybe killed. And so I sold my dirt bike because the risk, you know, the reward I was getting, I really loved it. But for me, having a family and stuff, I just saw that it wasn't worth it, you know. So we all have to weigh those things in our own lives of risk of going back to drinking versus doing certain things and this kind of thing. And that's an own individual choice that we're all going to have to face and make. But for me, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to go camp, and I'm going to do the little things that used to be triggers for me because, you know, you have to get past some of these things at some point, or you're never going to do any of these things again. And for me, life's not worth living if I can't go on vacation with my family to Hawaii, or I can't go camping and live a normal life, so to speak. So, you know, and it's like I talked about in a video a few days ago about relapse and stuff like that. And, you know, some people are going to relapse in this journey. They are going to go on vacation. Hell, it could be me. I could be in Hawaii and be like, screw this, I'm game over. I'm done with this. You know, I'm drinking. Hell with all this, you know, and do I think I'm going to do that? No. But it's one of those things that, you know, that potential and possibility can be there for a lot of us. And, you know, it doesn't mean you have to stay on drinking if you screw up and have a drink. I do think that, you know, it's not wise, obviously, to open that door once you've closed it. It'd be foolish. But if it does happen, learn from it and move on. You know, you don't have to completely relapse into the dark place that you were in before. And so that's it for today, guys. Vacations and that kind of thing. It's one of those deals that we just have to navigate and use our common sense and be aware and pay attention and not let those dumb little thoughts and all the publicity on alcohol at these certain vacation spots and things you look at online persuade you into doing something stupid. Just own it, see it for what it is, and get past it. So that's it for today, guys. If you guys are enjoying these videos, please give them a like, subscribe to the channel if you can, and most importantly, remember, sauce ain't the boss. You are. You guys have a great day.